I told my boss to apologize to my wife. I'm a controls engineer. I write the code that runs machines on customer floors. 2 nights before this happened, I was at a plant called Hollis Fabrication until almost 11 p.m., fixing a stamping line that kept faulting on a proximity sensor. I got it running clean before I left and texted my boss, Roy, that it was done and tested. He texted back a thumbs up. 2 mornings later, at 5:50 a.m., my phone started buzzing on the nightstand. I was in the bathroom, door shut, water running. My wife Naomi was asleep next to the phone. She saw Roy Calendar light up the screen twice and figured it wasn't her place to answer my work phone, so she rolled back over. At 5:55, our landline rang. We still keep one. It's the only thing that gets signal in our basement. Naomi picked it up half asleep, and it was Roy, asking where I was, telling her he needed me right now. She said she didn't know. Her whole body went cold, because if my boss doesn't know where I am at 5:55 in the morning, something bad must have happened. She was already up looking for her shoes when I walked out of the bathroom. She stood there holding the phone against her chest, staring at me, and then she started crying. Not talking, just shaking. It took her a full minute to get out that Roy had called looking for me, and she didn't know if something had happened. I called Roy back in the hallway. He said the line at Hollis was down. The customer was furious, and I needed to get there now. I didn't shower. I pulled on yesterday's jeans, kissed Naomi, and drove 17 minutes to the plant, going 10 over the whole way, heart still pounding from watching her cry. I got there at 6:20 a.m. The line was running clean, parts stacking on the pallet like nothing had happened. I found the third shift lead, Mateo, who'd been there all night. He said the line faulted once, around 1 a.m., on the same sensor I'd touched 2 nights before, except this time it was just a mounting bracket that had loosened. He reseated it in 4 minutes and it hadn't faulted since. He didn't even flag it as a big deal, just noted it in the shift log. So the emergency that had Roy calling my house phone at 5:55 a.m. was a 4-minute bracket fix already handled 5 hours earlier with a screwdriver. I stood in the hallway outside the break room and started shaking, but not from adrenaline, from how unnecessary it all was. Naomi doesn't scare easy. Her dad worked ambulances for 20 years. Roy had made her feel like she was in one over nothing. I drove to the office instead of going home and wrote an email to Roy, copied our operations manager Denise, and laid it out plain. The line had already been fixed hours before he called. Instead of texting me again or waiting until a normal hour, he called our house and scared my wife half to death without telling her what was even going on. I said that wasn't okay, and he owed her an apology, specifically her, not me. Roy replied 40 minutes later. 2 sentences. Sorry for the confusion. I was trying to reach you and got worried. Naomi's name wasn't in it once. I walked into Denise's office and showed her the call log. 2 calls to my cell at 5:50, then 3 to our landline between 5:53 and 5:58, after I hadn't picked up. No voicemail on any of them. Denise went quiet and told me this wasn't the first complaint like it. Last spring, another tech's teenage daughter had answered a call from Roy home alone, and he'd told her something urgent was going on with her dad's job before hanging up on her. Nobody had put it in writing, so it just got absorbed and forgotten. Denise looped in HR. 2 days later, I sat across from Roy and a woman named Carla from HR, and Denise pulled the Hollis log up on the shared screen, timestamped 1:04 a.m., bracket reseated, 0 faults since. Roy's face didn't move, but his ears went red. Carla asked why he'd escalated to a household landline instead of trying my cell again. He said he panicked, that the customer texted him at 3 a.m. furious and he hadn't checked if it was already resolved. Carla said he was going to call my wife right then, on speaker, with all 4 of us in the room. I hadn't asked for that, I just wanted it on record. Carla dialed Naomi's cell and set the phone on the desk between us. Roy's voice came out flat, rehearsed. Naomi, I'm sorry for calling your house that early and worrying you. It wasn't my intention. 12 seconds, no more. There was a pause on the line. Then Naomi said, which time you called, or the part where you let me think something happened to my husband, and hung up. Nobody in that room said anything for a few seconds. Denise closed her laptop. Carla wrote something down. Roy just sat there staring at the phone like it might ring back. He got pulled off the on-call rotation the next week, permanently, and Mateo got put on it instead. Roy still says good morning to me in the hallway like nothing happened. I still don't answer.